Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here at my next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 episode review. This one's going to be for Season 3, Episode 14, Casey Jones versus the Underworld. Overall, I thought this was a pretty decent episode. Like, usually after these kind of big finale or mid-season finales, they don't tend to follow it up with anything too impressive, but this one I felt like they went for something. That they went for the kind of like start of a new kind of story arc type story here. Introduced a few new characters, introduced a few new kind of plot elements and stuff like that. And overall, I felt like the episode was really good. And I was like, wow, this is actually a pretty good episode. Right up until the kind of stinger bit at the end when it's just like, this is what the chemical is actually for. And it's just like mind control formula. I like literally was on my way to pick up my camera. Basically, the last few seconds of the episode. Okay, going to grab the camera, going to record this video, and I hear this, and I'm just like, no, I have to criticize this show again, because I think it's just too similar to what the Krang are doing. You know, turning people into mindless kind of Krang zombies working for them, or in this case, Shredder's now going to be able to control a lot of other people. I get that the idea is for if he can't mutate Karai back into a human, maybe he wants to control her or stuff like that, but I just don't think it's the most original idea for this. For me, what this episode should have been that the chemical factory was all about Shredder doing everything for Karai, that he is actively trying to cure his quote-unquote daughter, and he's doing all of this stuff, organizing all of this stuff for her. And the Turtles, in taking down this operation for a while, have inadvertently stopped Karai from kind of mutating back. And that should have been, I felt like, the kind of stinger at the end that, maybe present this idea that maybe the Turtles will have to let Shredder go ahead and do this, and then work on taking him out. But just this mind control thing, I'm really not confident about this being anything notable in the series. Just like, they get rid of the Krang and they immediately give Shredder, who for me is the best and most credible villain left in the series, this weird plot. I don't know what they were planning. But as for the rest of the episode, Hun was our new character, the new leader of the Purple Dragons, and he's basically Bruce Lee. He was fun, but really he was just every new villain introduced that works for the Shredder. He does something really cool that makes all of Shredder's other henchmen look really terrible, and he's going to get a promotion. Then he's defeated at the end, and it's all back to normal. All the henchmen are useless in every single way, and that's exactly how he went. He is in no way notable as a character because they ruined him basically in the episode they introduced him in. I don't understand the writing for him or any of the other villains. You take out the Krang for a while, and you introduce this guy only to do the exact same thing you've been doing with him. For me, the strength of this episode was Shredder, heavy involvement there. He seems to be the villain of this kind of second half of Season 3, and I assume they're leading to something. I loved the kind of Leo Shredder confrontation towards the end of the episode. I even liked Casey kind of thinking he could go up against the Shredder and even getting like a surprise hit on him. There were some really cool moments because Shredder, just by default, because he's a character who's done well, makes fights intense and makes you kind of feel like the characters are at risk when they fight him. So that was interesting to just see in the episode. As for like other aspects of the episode, there wasn't really much else to it. Like, I suppose the main plot was Casey feeling like he was left out in the kind of the defeat of the Krang, having to go get medicine, and so he wants to prove himself on his own. Goes to take out the Purple Dragons, is defeated by Hun, learns some information. The Turtles eventually get involved, and he kind of eventually helps save the day in the end. We haven't had a Casey episode in a while. I appreciated that, but I don't think it was anything massively important, and that, like, ultimately by the end of the episode, it's just like the turtles appreciate Casey a bit more, and that's it. Um, I, I, they could have done something really interesting with Casey in this episode, but they didn't, and I ultimately, like, does this change anything for Casey and the turtles' relationship going forward? Not really. For me, the only thing really notable about the episode by the end is that they're going down this mind control arc. Now, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for now because I don't know the specifics of what they're going to do here or what Shredder's plan fully is, but, you know, if they go down the road that they've done a couple of times, because here's the thing, as I said, they've done the Krang in terms of mind control thing. They've done a Splinter mind control thing with the Rat King guy. They've done the kind of insect parasite things. The wasps took over most of the turtles, and they've done, I think, 2 or 3 other kind of one-note mutants that have done very similar things in terms of taking over some of the characters in the show and kind of turning them against other characters. So if that's where the show is going right now, the show seems to have very little originality and very little focus on plot, and is just creating fights for the sake of fights. And I'm very worried by what they've just decided to do here with this. So yeah, I thought it was a solid enough episode. I was happy that they followed up a 2 big episodes, the mid-season finale, with a solid episode when they haven't done that in a while. So that was a positive. Appreciated the Casey focus. Hun could be interesting, but at this rate, I feel like he's just another one of Shredder's henchmen. Like, Tiger Claw had an element of kind of like, okay, we don't know a lot about this guy, he's going to be pretty threatening from here on out, but even they made a joke of him in this episode. They tried to bring, like, Fish Face and Razar back into things, and they were just kind of defeated very easily. There's just very little consistency with any of the characters in the series, so just a kind of mixed bag of an episode. I thought it had a lot of potential, but they just kind of messed it up at various points. So we'll see where they go next week, where the plot really starts to go. But for me, I think they need to focus on the things that are really important in the series. Like, focus more on, Karai, the Splinter Shredder rivalry. Focus on April. Like, I know we saw April and her father helping the people of the city in this episode, but focus more on just the, shouldn't April be asking her father questions about her mother at this point in time and her past and stuff like that? Because I know he said a few little things to her in previous episodes, but I feel like that's something that needs to really happen now. Now that there's an element of, like, okay, they're involved in something now with this mind control thing, but there's time to talk about that now, and I think they need to explain some stuff about April, because, as I said in most of these videos, April's the most interesting character in the show by a long way. Yeah, well, I'll see where it goes. It was a solid enough episode, but let me know in the comments what your thoughts were on the episode. Other than that, thanks for watching this review, and bye.